Okay. Oh boy, it's time. Time for the funny... Time for things to happen. Oh boy, this is gonna be... So, the next 3 streams, because I know that singing happens in this stream. I don't recall whether there is in the rest of this case, but I know that there's singing in the beginning. So, yeah. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be awesome. I got my lyric sheets ready. Oh boy. Whoever is watching, you're in for a treat. And that is an intentional pun. Hell yeah. Alright. I kind of just want to get into it. Let's just get into it. Why the hell not? Alright. Here we go. Oh, I am nervous that I'm not going to be able to do this well because there are a lot of characters in this case. I like this case. There are a lot of characters, which means a lot of voices, and some of them I have to sing. Also, I have braces. I got them yesterday. This is the worst time to start doing a case in which I need to provide a wide variety of voices, but we're doing it. I'm just gonna try my best. That's all I can do. It still shows when I'm full screening, right? I'm paranoid. I want to make sure. Because I'm going to have the video full screen on my computer. Okay. It seems like it. Very cool. Alright. Gameplay time. Alright. Here we go. Get ready for the greatest voice acting of all time. What shall we make today, kids?
Samson
and Judy's Bake and Bop.
Macarons, waffles with cream, shiffa cakes that light as a dream. Laugh and sing, smile is true, all that sweetness waiting for you. Look there, what, where? Over there, the oven's got something special to share. Now let's see what we've got for you. It's cooking time. Are you ready to make something special together? Wow, talk about a blast from the past. Hey, Gregory. I'm going back there tomorrow with your boy. I'm finally going to find out what happened 18 years ago. Well, Fender, are you finally going to tell me what we're doing here? Why have you brought me to an art gallery of all places? Hey, you had nothing going on. Seemed like the perfect chance to come and enjoy the magic of star sign stuff together. I'm leaving. Chill, big guy, I'm just joking. You know about the IS-7 incident, yeah? Your old man's last case? Of course. Von Karma took great pleasure in showing me the files as soon as I became a prosecutor. And I reviewed them again last night after your invite. See? I was also present at the trial all those years ago, although my memories of it are somewhat hazy. As a child, I was completely in awe of my father. The sight of him in court was inspirational. Gregory Edgeworth, attorney at law, and opposite him, the man who would become my mentor, Manfred von Karma. It was quite a case. However, it ended with the conviction of the accused. Ah, so you were there too. You were in the courtroom for Gregory's final outing? Well, that'll make explaining things easier. I wanted you to know something, see? That something being what really went down. Not the truth in those files, but the capital T truth. It was 18 years ago, smack dab in the middle of a real doozy of a winter. The buildings were covered with a blanket of snow. It looked like the streets were lined with popsicles. But things weren't so innocent behind those frozen doors. In fact, some pretty sordid stuff went down. This is back before yours truly was the fine figure of an attorney you see before you today. Hey, Mr. E, this one really came out of the blue, huh? It did. We were called in before the ink on the arrest papers were even dry. My name is Gregory Edgeworth. I'm a defense attorney. I'm here visiting a client with my assistant, Eddie Fender. A murder on Christmas Eve? What's the world coming to? In the dark of the night, at the end of the day, I saw two timely saviors a coming my way. Welcome, my friends, to the visitor's room, and if we're not friends yet, I'm sure we will be soon. Whoa, talk about an entrance! I was not expecting that. Neither was I. Sorry if I surprised you. I'm just so happy to see you both. Thanks so much for coming out. Seriously, I can't thank you enough. You're the accused, I take it. I am. Gregory Edgeworth, attorney at law, at your service. I look forward to representing you. This is my assistant, Eddie Fender. Pleased to meet you, sir. I'll do everything I can to help. Come now, Edward. Calm down, please. You'll have to forgive him. He's still new to this. He's been helping me out part-time, but he's far from fully fledged lawyer material yet. Nonetheless, I'm hoping he'll be of some assistance in investigating the particulars of this case. Gregory and Eddie, it's an honor to meet you both. My job as a defense attorney is to save my clients from wrongful convictions. So the first thing to do is establish whether or not he is truly innocent. Perhaps we could begin by having you tell us a little about yourself. What am I thinking? I haven't even told you my name. I'm Samson Tagaroa. What? He really is you! Samson Tagaroa, the world's greatest confectioner! You flatter me, my young friend. And call me Samson. All my pals do. Wow! Thanks, Samson, I will! I can't believe I'm meeting you in person! It seems Eddie knows something of our client. Mr. E, it's the Samson Tagaroa, the singing, dancing confectioner and making sensation. What shall I make today, kids? Macarons, waffles with cream, chiffon cakes that are light as a dream. Laugh and sing, smile is true. All that sweetness waiting for you. Look there. What? Where? Over there. The oven's got something special to share. Now let's see what we've got for you. I almost started dancing along. No way! I gotta stay with Samson Tangaroa! This is a dream come true! Huh. Thanks, little pal. It means a lot to hear you say that. My apologies, but I think we need to discuss the matter at hand. Of course. I'm sure you're both very busy. Alright, where would you like me to start? So you're not just a confectioner, but also a singer and a dancer. I sure am. When I'm having fun, my body just starts moving. You must really enjoy making desserts. Haha, wouldn't be much of a confectioner if I didn't. I live to make sweets that will bring joy to others. Hey, they're not just things, they're works of art! Sparkling, dazzling, mouth-watering creations, the stuff that dreams are made of. So he aims to create joyous and inspirational pieces, does he? I understand the incident in question happened at your mansion. It did. We were holding an international confectionery contest there when a body was found inside one of my creations. Inside one of your... No way! The detective in charge placed me under arrest because of it, and now here I am. But I could never take a life. Never. I'm sure the police will see that too in time. They realize their mistake. I sure hope so. And what can you tell us about the victim? His name is Artie Frost. He was taking part in the contest. Mr. Frost was a wonderful confectioner. His creations were things of real beauty. I just don't understand. Why did he have to die? I'm sorry. He seems genuinely upset over the victim's death. I think I have a pretty good measure of the man now. Mr. Tangaroa, there's just one last thing I need to confirm with you. You didn't kill Mr. Frost, correct? Correct. I swear to you I didn't do it. Like I told you, I could never take a life. Never. He seems quite sincere. Alright, I'm going to take you at your word. Thank you for being so forthright with me. Likewise, it's good to talk to somebody other than these detectives. We'll head to the scene of the crime and see what we can learn. We'll be in touch when we have something more to tell you. Goodbye, Gregory. Goodbye, Eddie. I'm counting on you both. It's pretty cold out there, huh, Mr. E? I never saw so much snow. Yes, and it doesn't seem like it will be letting up anytime soon. But just look at this place. What a sweet house Samson's got. It's huge. Yes, big enough to hold an international confectionery contest, no less. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Call in, we'll have us some fun. Oh, no. Are you all right? I'm sorry. Would you happen to meet Mr. Gregory Edgeworth by any chance? I would. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Eddie Fender, Mr. Edgeworth's assistant. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, welcome to our humble abode. Judy Bound, it's an honor to meet you both. I'm the housekeeper here, and Mr. Tangaroa's assistant. You're no housekeeper, you're Judy Bound, the Judy Bound! You know a little something of my work? A little? I watch you on TV every chance I get! I'm Bacon Bob's biggest fan! It's very kind of you to say so. We'd be nothing without our fans. And what might Bacon Bop be? It's only the biggest show on TV. Every kid on the planet loves it. The dynamic duo of Samson and Judy make delicious sweet stuff, all while singing and dancing. Like this. Check it out. What shall we make today, kids? Cookie dough, caramel too, fluffy choux cream tiramisu. Everyone, come along. Bacon treats with a smile and a song. There, ooh, where, who? There, it's true. The oven's got something special for you. Just take a bite and you'll see. That was a wonderful performance, Mr. Fender. Bravo! I dance along every time I watch the show. Perhaps Miles might enjoy it too. I'll suggest it later. But all this dancing really takes it out of a guy. Oh,
I'm so sorry. I'm the world's worst hostess. Here, nothing relaxes the body and mind quite like a cup of tea.
Ah, this is Ceylon, correct? It's delicious. Its citrus aroma is said to improve one's ability to concentrate, as I recall. Interesting. So this is what Ceylon tea tastes like, huh? How odd. The saucer's cold.
Yes, it's so that the tea cools down more quickly, I'm afraid. Some of our guests don't like it too hot.
I see. These teacups are very unique, too. The design is really something.
You think so? Thank you so much. I ordered them all the way from France. They're my absolute favorite. They were designed by a marvelous sculptor named Paul Helique. Have you heard of him? He makes the most amazing tableware in the world.
You're clearly a big fan of his work.
Oh, I am. These teacups are my greatest treasure.
She's certainly not afraid to show when she's passionate about something. If you don't mind, Ms. Bound, I'd like to move on to the reason we're here. Can you tell us everything you know about the unfortunate incident that occurred earlier?
Of course. I'm sorry for getting so distracted. I guess I'm still in shock. Because I'm the one who found the body, you see.
You discovered the victim. Is it true that the body was recovered from inside one of Mr. Tangaroa's creations?
It is. We were in the middle of the contest's final judgment phase when I heard the sound of something big collapsing coming from Samson's room. Samson, are you in here? Ah! I opened the door and went inside, and there was Mr. Frost's body.
Thank you. I'm sorry to make you relive such a traumatic experience.
Think nothing of it, please. I only wish I had more to tell you.
Now, if you don't mind, Ms. Bound, I'd like to begin our investigation of the crime scene.
Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, you have to save Samson. He's no murderer. He can never do something like that.
Of course.
Leave it to us, Miss Bound. Thank you so much. I'll go serve the others their tea then.
Come, Eddie. To the scene of the crime.
Yes, sir, Mr. E. No way! Everything in this room is made of chocolate! I can't believe I'm getting to see so many of Samson's creations this up close and personal.
It might be more excited myself if the room wasn't a murder scene.
It's hearing you say that sends a shiver down my spine.
That might just be the temperature in here. It's rather cold.
Yeah, now that you mention it, it is pretty chill. So!
Defense on the scene already. That was fast. A pleasure to meet you, Gregory Edgeworth. I'm representing Mr. Tangaroa. This is my assistant, Eddie Fender.
Nice to meet you.
Bad. Detective Tyrell Bad.
The detective in charge is named Bad, a man of few words. Ugh, something about this just doesn't taste right.
You're eating your notepaper. He likes to chew over his thoughts rather literally, I'm afraid. It helps him to digest and remember them. It's a little quirk of his. Please try to ignore it. Although I'd be the first to admit that's easier said than done. With introductions out of the way, Detective Bad, would you mind if we joined you in investigating the scene? Sorry, not gonna happen.
What? How come? Mr. Edgeworth is Mr. Tangaroa's attorney.
Yeah, an attorneys will do anything to get him off the hook, even with words in their clients' mouths. You think I need that on my crime scene?
Mr. Edgeworth would never do something like that.
Huh. I don't trust attorneys. Okay, kid?
Detective, you established my client's supposed guilt based on an investigation of the crime scene, correct?
That's usually how it works, yeah. What of it? Then extend me the same courtesy. I believe he is innocent, and I would like the chance to prove it. You believe he's innocent, and you didn't even see the scene yet. That's some flimsy lawyering. That's exactly why I wish to see the scene for myself. I need to ensure that my belief is based on solid evidence and sound reasoning. You about to tell me you're not leaving until I let you look over the scene? I am. Fine. Knock yourselves out. Thank you, Detective. But I'm coming around with you. Like I said, I don't trust attorneys. If you're good with that, go ahead and get to it.
That was a lollipop this whole time? I must admit I didn't see that coming either.
We better get started then. I'll need you to take notes, Eddie.
On it, Mr. E.
Let's get this over with. So this is where the body was discovered. Yeah. They took it away already, but everything else is just how we found it. It appears the body was inside the treasure chest. Yeah. A woman by the name of Bound found it.
Samson, are you in here? Ah!
Seems you heard something breaking and came in to see what it was. If only we had just a little more information. There's something else in here. Huh. It looks like a seal of some kind, with somebody's initials and an intricate shape carved into it.
Is it for making those fancy waxings on documents? Do you think it belonged to the victim?
No idea, but it's gotta get logged anyway, so I'll take that. One of the stands for the ship is broken.
The ship must have collapsed onto the treasure chest and smashed it open. Wait, do you think? Could that be how the victim died? Was he crushed by the ship?
If he was, this becomes an accidental death and not a murder. You too serious. Don't worry, Detective. For the moment, we're simply discussing a possibility.
I was being serious, though.
Detective, can you tell us a little more about the state of the victim's body? Let me see. Got a picture here someplace. You can see for yourselves. Death is from blunt force trauma. And what about the weapon? Has it been found yet? You can ask the prosecutor in charge about that. The detective's not one for sharing much, I see. Would you mind if we borrowed this? No skin off my nose. It's not like it's official. Bound took it with an instant camera when she found the body.
An instant camera? Like it's disposable or something?
No, it means that it develops the pictures right there and then when you take them.
No way! Sounds pretty convenient.
Now then, I better get my facts straight and take down some notes of my own. There's something in this picture that contradicts with the current crime scene. I'll need to call on my powers of deduction to figure out why. I must scour the scene and do a lot of things that YouTubers do.
Eureka!
You said the only thing that has been removed from the scene is the body. Yeah, that and the piece of cloth it was wrapped in. Then something here doesn't quite add up. It doesn't. Take another look at the scene in front of us, Detective. A very conspicuous pool of blood that should be here is clearly missing. You're right. Don't remember anybody mentioning they'd removed the blood along with the body. Let me check with forensics.
What is it, Mr. E? What did you figure out?
Compare the treasure chest in the photograph to the real thing. In the picture, the solid chocolate bottom continues underneath the deceased heads. And yet, that part of the chest is now gone.
The part with blood all over it.
Exactly. So did the police remove it? Or perhaps the killer? It wasn't forensics. They're saying nobody took anything like that away.
Interesting. So somebody deliberately removed the blood from the scene.
Could be. And you are? Huh. Sorry, meditating. Did you want something, detective? Oh, I'm an attorney, not a detective. Gregory Edgeworth. A pleasure to meet you.
And I'm his assistant, Eddie Fender.
I see. Name's Carmelo Gusto. I'm a confectioner, here for the contest.
You are? What's your specialty, Mr. Gusto?
The art of air and sugar.
No way! Look at that, it's a little baby seahorse.
It's a dragon, a noble soaring creature of the skies.
That's a dragon?
It does look more aquatic than airborne. No need to sugarcoat. My design sense is weak. I know that better than anybody. That's why I'm heading to Zhangfa when this is all over. I need to train hard. Perhaps you should get off the subject of his design sense for now. So what are you doing in here, Mr. Gusto? I didn't think they were allowing civilians on the scene yet. The detective wanted to know more about one of the pieces in here. Makes sense, seeing as he is a contestant. Perhaps I should ask him a few questions of my own. Those are some interesting implements you use, Mr. Gusto. Sugar blowing pumps. They put air into the sugar.
They're so cool. It's like watching your sword master do his thing.
I'm no master. When a day goes by that I don't hurt myself one way or another. That's why I wear red. That way it doesn't matter when I make a mess. The way of the confectioner is a lonely one. You never stop learning. Not until you die. The way of the confectioner sounds like a long one, too, if he's still injuring himself on a daily basis. What can you tell us about the contest? Based on what we've seen so far, flavor doesn't seem to be the only criteria at play. The contest was Tangaroa's idea. It's about art. Confectionery as art.
Confectionery as art?
Art you can eat. Every part of it. Every single item in this room is edible.
The whole place does kind of smell like chocolate.
Tangaroa is a genius. A once-in-a-generation talent. Flavor and flair, he has it all. And if you can outdo the god of confections himself, you can't win.
I don't know, man. Being at the greatest in the world seems kind of hard, yeah?
As it should be. Whoever beats him becomes the greatest in turn. That's the real prize here. Nothing else matters. So you're competing for a title, effectively. And the treasure. The ultimate cookbook. Tangaroa's most prized possession. If you want to know more, it's all written down here. It's the list of rules that was given out to contestants. Sorry, I don't know much about what happened. I only heard about it after the judging was over.
How was the judging organized?
It started at 3 p.m. Tangaroa began making the rounds right around then. He left his own room, then worked his way around the venue clockwise. My creations were the first to be judged. After that, he went to Scone's room. She's another one of the contestants.
What can you tell us about her?
Ruthless. Brutal. There's nothing she wouldn't do to win. She was working with Cream, some kind of dreamscape. Then, last of all, Frost's room. His thing was flavored ice. Sculptures this time, or so I heard. Bad found a body, while Tangaroa was still making the rounds. She panicked, ran to call the cops. Tangaroa went right on judging. Claims we didn't know a thing about it until afterward. Went ahead and looked over the victim's work, even though the guy was nowhere to be seen. Huh. Pretty suspicious behavior in anyone's book. I don't have enough information to challenge him on that yet. By the way, Detective Bad, what were you and Mr. Gusto talking about earlier? I was going to ask about the piece on the wall here, the one in the frame. Seemed like something was off. Thought I'd better ask somebody who knows about this stuff. But then you bozos showed up and pulled me away from my very important work. Perhaps we can take a closer look at it together. Can't take a hint, can ya?
Mr. Gusto, would you mind helping us out?
Of course. Confectionery is my life. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. Who knew you could make a picture this pretty out of chocolate? Samson really is a god among men. Is he really made of chocolate, though? It looks far too much like a regular illustration to me. You have a good eye. I'm impressed. That's no piece of candy. That's the ultimate cookbook. The ultimate cookbook? In other words, the grand prize. What? So it's not made of chocolate after all? No, the book is simply enframed in some. Tangaroa showed it to all of us when he gathered us here to explain the rules. So the participants knew that the grand prize was in this room the whole time. Anyway, you see it too, right? The frame. Something's missing. Ah, the oddity Detective Bad was going to ask Mr. Gusto about earlier. Yes. You're right, Detective. Something is missing from this frame. So it's not just me. Huh? What's missing? I better show Eddie which part of the frame is missing some chocolate.
Take that.
Look at the decorative work in the corner here. Something's missing, no? Oh yeah, it's different from the other side. That's not like Tangaroa. The balance is all wrong. That's not all. Take a look around. Every confection in this room is missing some small bit. You're right. The candle holders, the nautical stuff, they're all like that. Did somebody deliberately damage them? That's a very good question. Or did Tangaroa just want him to look like somebody messed with his work? He'd never do that to his own creations, never! Could this have some deeper meaning for the case? I must scour the scene and watch all the YouTube videos and learn what it means to be a defense attorney and a prosecutor. Are these finger marks? Yeah, but we don't know whose yet. Slum figured it out. No fingerprints, no ID. Finger marks without prints. They could certainly be important to the case. It's a real head scratch, all right. Not really. I'm guessing whoever was wore gloves. Ah, where's your sense of romance, of adventure? There isn't any much of either at a crime scene, Eddie. Achoo! Are you all right, Eddie? Yeah, but it sure is chilly in here. Yes, it wasn't exactly warm out in the fountain room either. But it's even colder in here. Would you like to borrow my jacket? No, I'm fine. And besides, you said you'd give it to me when I finally got my attorney's badge. Heh, I did, didn't I? Why do they have the heat down so low? Chocolate needs to be kept at the right temperature. Take a look behind that panel on the wall. What panel? Look at that! It was here this whole time! There's one in each of the contest rooms. Tangaroa hid them so they wouldn't spoil the aesthetic of our works. And what do the controls do? They adjust the temperature and the lighting. Goes all the way down to negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit, cold enough to keep any confectionery from melting. So in effect, each room is a giant freezer. It's 59 degrees in here! No wonder I'm cold! Hey, Detective Bad, you mind if we turn it up a little? Preservation of the crime scene. The foundation of detective work. But I'm not a detective! The same goes for attorneys, Eddie. We must never disturb the scene of the crime. Get used to the cold. It's all part of your training. Chocolate needs to be kept between 59 and 65 degrees. There's no way around it. You know the temperatures by heart, huh? Guess it is your job. It is the very least I should know. And a real confectioner should be able to tell you that and more. Alright, what about lollipops and cream? If it's not too hot or too humid, a lollipop should be fine just about anywhere. Cream needs to be kept at around 50 degrees. Need to watch out for heat and humidity, huh? Duly noted. Detective Bad kind of brightened up when he was talking about lollipops, didn't he? I suppose he must be very fond of them. I don't believe there's any more to be found here. The stand broke and the ship collapsed with it. And the loud sound it made brought Miss Bound running. Yeah, so the ship had already keeled over by the time she got in here. But why did the stand collapse? What caused it to break?
Maybe the whole thing was off balance from the get-go.
Could that really have been the case?
All of Mr. Tangaro's creations are missing a little piece each, including one of the stands that was holding up the ship. Somebody really went all out.
Do you think it could have been the killer?
It's certainly a possibility. Either way, I think we can safely say that the stand was damaged in our mystery person's tampering spree. And when it broke, the ship fell and smashed open the treasure chest, which would have remained closed otherwise. There's some very tasteful tableware here, along with some kitchen utensils. This tea set is of the same design as the one Ms. Bound served us with earlier.
You think Samson could have been drinking tea out of that?
The pot and cup were destined for Prince. His were the only ones they found. And was that the case for the utensils, too? Everything else had been washed, so there weren't any prints to find. And if Mr. Tangaro was wearing gloves while he was working on his confectionaries, that could explain why prints were only found on the teapot and cup. What are you investigating, officer? Sir, I was just taking the temperature of the water here. And what have you learned? Oh, it's warm, sir. The stream in each room flows into the main fountain, and then the water is circulated back to the rooms. Unusual to say the least. I've never seen a house quite like this one. Rich folks. They're all crazy. I think we're about done here for now. Well, if I wasn't convinced before, I am now. Tangaroa did it, no two ways about it.
What do you mean?
All the rooms in this place, locked from the inside. The only way to unlock them from the outside is with this key.
I see. And who had access to that key?
Who do you think? Tangaroa. And it's the only one. There aren't any copies. With the mansion key, Tangaroa could slip into anybody else's room anytime he liked. And he could even lock his own room from the outside if he wanted.
But Mr. Tangaroa's room wasn't locked, was it?
Nope, which is exactly what makes him a suspect.
Would you care to explain your thinking?
If the door had been locked when the body was found, Tangaroa would have been the obvious suspect. Which is why he deliberately didn't lock his room. And why he smashed in the lid of the treasure chest, so the body was on full display. Everyone was supposed to gather in his room when the judging finished up, so he made it look like the murder happened while he wasn't there. The one thing he didn't plan on was Bound finding the body. Anyway, that's my thinking on this whole thing. Good enough for you, Mr. Attorney?
Do you also believe it was Mr. Tangaroa who damaged the other pieces in this room?
Yep. I know you have to believe your client. That's your job. But I'm a detective and I serve the law. No matter how squeaky clean somebody might seem, a suspect is still a suspect.
I fully understand your reasoning, Detective. Now, would you mind if I applied a little critical thinking of my own?
Heh, do your worst.
Just as the detective won't compromise his devotion to law, I won't compromise my beliefs either. And I'm not about to just accept his version of events. In fact, I'm going to show him the piece of evidence that highlights the contradiction in his claims.
Objection!
We've established that the body was hidden inside the chest, and that Ms. Bound only came running into this room when she heard a sound. It seems reasonable to infer that the sound was that of the chocolate boat collapsing.
Sure, seems likely, based on the evidence.
And yet you assert that it was Mr. Tangaroa who had smashed the lid off the chest. I believe this photo makes it clear that it was the ship that did the smashing.
And if that had occurred only moments before Ms. Bound had entered the room, then it couldn't have been broken by Mr. Tangaroa, who was out judging the contest at that time. I never said he needed it then and there. He could have done something to the stand, so it would collapse when he was in the middle of judging.
Objection!
Have you any way of proving that assertion? Nope, but the investigation isn't over yet. There's still time. So he doesn't have anything conclusive. Have you found any prints in this room besides those of Mr. Tangaroa? Yup, on the door. But we found Tangaroa's and Frost prints on there too. We were all brought in here for a briefing, right before we started work on our creations. Those prints are probably from then. I take it you haven't checked any of Mr. Tangaroa's work prints yet? Why would? We know that somebody tampered with them. Therefore, it's possible they left some prints behind when they did so. Fine. But if we don't find anything, your guy's still top of my list. Got it? You. Check all this chocolate stuff for prints now. Yes, sir, right away. Detective Bad. We finished testing the chocolate and we found prints that don't belong to Mr. Tangaroa, sir. Go on. Whose? Delicious Scone, sir. She's one of the contestants. Good work. You can go back to whatever you were investigating before. Yes, sir. So it seems we have a suspect besides Mr. Tangaroa. Huh. Even without your lawyerly input, I wasn't about to wrap up the investigation anyway. I'll go speak to Ms. Scone and see what she has to say for herself. Delicious Scone. Mr. Gusto mentioned her too. He said that she was ruthless, that she'd do anything to win. This Scone lady sounds like a pretty suspicious character, huh, Mr. E? Yes. I think we better try to speak with her ourselves as well. Detective Bat, would you mind if we accompanied you? Babysitting you is not my job. Ah, come on! But I guess you did pick up a couple of useful clues already. So if you want to tag along, be my guest. Thank you, Detective. You're too kind. But Detective Bad, sir! I don't think that's such a good idea. The lead prosecutor is still busy in there. It'll be fine. Me and him don't exactly see eye to eye anyhow. Who is this him? Who did they assign the case to? Manfred von Karma. What? They gave it to von Karma? He hasn't lost the case in 25 years! Manfred von Karma, a living legend over at the prosecutor's office. We've never faced one another in the courtroom, but I've heard plenty of stories. They say he'll do anything to ensure a guilty verdict. But I can't let that distract me. For now, I need only continue to do what I believe is right. Do I dare continue? First, let's save. See, the problem is there's like 5 hours left in this case. And oh wait, we're still in the beginning. We're still in the beginning section. Okay, actually that's good. Okay. Thank God. See, because I want to, for the sake of me finding it easier to like figure out how much of each case I streamed in each stream, I want to just do beginning, then middle, then end. But yeah, okay. There's another part to the beginning. Thank God. Because like the case in the whole is like 6 hours long, close to 7, and that was like maybe an hour, if even that, like 40 minutes. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna take a very short break. Let me just go. All right, I'll be back in like, I don't know, 5 minutes. Gotta use the bathroom and stuff. I would probably have a little snack, but I don't want to also brush my teeth after. I don't know. Brushing my teeth is just annoying and bothersome. So this is going to make me eat a lot less, which is probably good. I'm very fat. I'm not that fat. I'm like, I don't know, 180 or something, which is not great. I don't have a lot of muscle mass, so I probably should I should lighten up on my food, and the braces will hopefully get me into good eating habits. Alright, I'm gonna use the bathroom. Actually, I should probably look at the next section and make sure that there aren't any singing portions, because the only reason that I was able to even come close to having like a decent singing career, so to speak, was because I literally looked it up. I watched. There's like a walkthrough by Crystal Longplays. Shout outs to Crystal Longplays. So let me like just fast forwarding. Let me turn the quality down so there's no like buffering, so it goes by a little faster. I'm just tapping the right key, which moves the video forward 5 seconds. And now the video is buffering. Always fun. Ba-da-da-ba-ba. Ba-da-da-ba-ba. Ba-ba-da-da-ba-ba. Ba-da-da-da-ba, ba-da-da-da-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Okay, no more singing. Very cool. That means that I will be able to actually voice act this kind of good. All right, cool. Break over. Time to voice act, but again. Watch me like get tired and just become bad at voice acting for the rest of the stream. Oh no. No, you can see that I'm using Ryujinx. All right. Back to gaming.
Whoa, a candy castle. And look, there are even some little elves to go with it.
Room's laid out. Pretty much the same as Tangaroa's.
It's not as cold, though. That's something.
Let's see. Yeah, looks like there's a temperature control panel in here, too.
Over there where the orange light is, right?
We better take a closer look at it when we can.
And it's like a fairy tale storybook in here.
And this which cream-covered construction must be the work of Miss Delicious Scone. Where is Miss Scone?
Me? Why, I'm just over here, dearie. Oh, just look at you lovely boys. Delicious Scone, at your service. Some cheeky blighters back in Blighty even called me Miss Delicious. Tee!
Called a lovely boy at 34. Unexpected to say the least.
Lovely boys? Really? Even Mr. E? Oh yes, dear. You, the detective over there. You're all lovely boys to me.
I'm nobody's lovely boy, lady. Name's Bad. I wonder just how old she is. Finish this up so we can get out of here, Mr. Attorney. Yes, all right. What's the meaning of this? She's adding with the defense!
Mr. Edgeworth, some scary guy just stepped out of the castle.
Von Karma.
What? He's meant for Von Karma? Ape, sorry, mannequins.
The notorious prosecutor Von Karma himself. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Von Karma. Gregory Edgeworth, attorney at law. Humph! I couldn't care less what your name is. Your job is to loose me and disappear, never to show your sniveling face again. What a thoroughly rude individual.
Those piercing eyes, that furrowed brow. Ugh, you're even scarier than they say.
And you might want to keep such a rude thoughts to yourself, Eddie. We were hoping you might permit us to carry out some brief inquiries, Mr. Von Karma. Ha! And why would I wish to extend to you any such courtesy? This clearly isn't going to be easy. So long as your inquiries are limited to this room, I suppose I'll allow it. Why the sudden change of heart? You, the tall fellow. Name's Bad. Is that so hard to remember? Humph! I didn't ask for your opinion. The thoughts of a lovely detective do not concern me. But I do admire your spirit. Bad. See to it that these worms don't step out of line. Why do I have to? I'm not offering you a choice, detective. I need to go and look over Gusto's room. Good day. Great. More babysitting. Why aren't Detective Bad and Mr. Von Karma investigating together? They don't seem to know each other well enough for there to be bad blood between them.
Well, it looks like we have permission to investigate. Guess you better get to it.
Indeed. I'm not sure I trust Mr. Von Karma's motives, but at least we can do that much. Hold up. I haven't been over this room yet either. You're not messing it up before I get my chance. You'll have to wait till I'm done.
Huh? But I thought you were the lead detective. How come you didn't take a look at this room yet?
Because that wasn't the first one they assigned. One of Von Karma's pets was on the job before me. Right up until just now, in fact. I got here long before you did. That answers my question as to why they're working separately, I suppose. Let's say we look over the room together, Detective. It worked out well enough before. Then you won't have to worry about us messing things up. You can keep an eye on us as we go. What kind of screwball attorney asks to have a detective breathing down his neck? Ugh. Guess I'm stuck with you for a little while longer.
Yes! You're amazing, Mr. E!
You have our thanks, Detective Bad. Don't be too grateful. This is my scene. The second you get in my way, you're out of here. Of course. We understand. Now, shall we begin? There's a small door in the wall here, just like Mr. Tangaroa's room. Here, I'll open it.
Temperature 68 degrees. Light set to green.
Didn't Gusto say cream needs to be kept at 50 degrees? Temperature in here is too high.
That is odd. I wonder why.
It's an incredible piece of work. Hard to believe this whole castle is made out of sugar and cream.
I know, right? It's like we're inside a magical medieval story or something.
I didn't know you were so into such fantastical things.
Sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. Didn't mean to get so carried away there.
Oh, no need to apologize. I admire your enthusiasm. I sometimes wish my own son was as animated as you.
You have a son, Mr. E.
I do. He's still in elementary school, and yet he'd rather read a statute book than a fairy tale. I can't help but worry that his interests will make it hard for him to make friends.
Don't say that. He sounds super interesting. He'll make a ton of friends, me included, I'm sure.
Heh. I like to think you'd be more of a big brother to him than a friend, Eddie.
Sure. A big brother, huh? Guess I have some growing up to do. Better take this more seriously. Indeed. Then with that in mind, shall we continue our investigation? Blah, blah, blah. We already know this. It happened a lot in the first game. Huh. These pillars. They have hexagonal indentations. Looks like something's supposed to go in there. Well, whatever they were, they're long gone. Hexagonal identifications, huh? I wonder. The castle's covered with cream, so maybe a giant strawberry. A giant strawberry with a hexagonal bottom? Look, I like strawberries, okay? Can't blame a guy for wishing. I prefer bananas myself. Blueberries for me. The doors of the castle have been left wide open. Yeah, was the guy in a barn? You could have at least closed them behind him. I'd like to see you set it to Mr. Armand Carver's face, Eddie. Wait, there's a bunch of stuff inside. Let's see. Hold it, kid. If anybody's gonna be handling evidence, it'll be me. Cream's going all runny. It's all over the detective's shoes. Why are all these items being stored inside a candy castle? Alright, tell me what you want me to look at first. There's a bunch of blue cloth back there. 1, 2, 3, 4 rolls altogether. Well, they certainly aren't made of candy. No idea what this stuff is for. Almost looks like somebody hid it in here. And I think I've seen fabric of the same color somewhere else before. Two big rock crystals? Looks like somebody was using the castle for storage. Kinda expected something a little more exciting behind these doors. Oh, I know. Maybe they're giant uncut gemstones. Maybe this whole thing is based on a story of a castle with a priceless treasure hidden inside. I think I treated my priceless treasure with a little more care. There's something on the bottom of them. Looks like a little stand or something. I was right. They are gemstones. The stands will be so they can be put on display. Well, whatever they are, it seems they're not just a large set of paperweights. What's the matter, Miss Cone? You seem a whole lot less cheerful than you were a minute ago. Is it Mr. Von Karma? Did something happen between you two? Why, yes. Nothing happened at all. Huh? But you just said yes? Ah, Tee, that was a hello yes, you silly boy. Aren't you just the sweetest little sugar dumpling? Remind me, what was your name again? Oh, Eddie. Eddie Lumpkin. Oh, you'll go far, dearie, I could tell. Eddie Lumpkin? It seems our English gentlewoman is taking a liking to you, Eddie. No small accomplishment. She's not exactly what I picture when I think of a gentlewoman, Mr. E. Never mind that now. We should ask her a few questions while we can. Could you tell us about what you did over the course of the contest? Of course, dearie. Let's see. It all started at about 10 in the morning. That's when we set to work. And, well, I spent most of the time here in my room getting everything ready, as you'd expect. Oh, and then there was a lovely afternoon tea for an hour or so from around 1, I think. Afternoon tea? It's an English tradition. A chance to drink tea, enjoy a snack, and make small talk. So, kind of like recess? I suppose you could say that. Oh, you really know your onions, don't you, Greggy Peleg? Such a clever boy. When did I become Greggy? And where was this afternoon tea served? Out in the garden, of course. There's a lovely little one just outside. They do it at the same hour every break time during the contest. Lay on a nice little spread, you know. But today, only me, Samson Sillypants, and Moody Judy were there for it. Sammy Poople had already finished his big creation, so he was there the whole time. But poor old Chillywinks and Gusty Pants had to miss out because they hadn't finished yet. Bless them. You're saying everybody except Mr. Frost and Mr. Gusto was present. That's right, dear. To tell you the truth, I hadn't finished yet either. But I wasn't about to miss out on tea and cake served by our two TV superstars. I went right back to work when I'd finished, though. Totaled off while the others were still mattering array. And at any point during the contest, did you visit any of the other competitors' rooms? Well, no, dear, don't be silly. That's strange, because your fingerprints were found in Mr. Tangaroa's room. caught red-handed.
Wait, so you admit you were there?
Oh, well, I can hardly deny it now, can I? But I didn't kill anybody, I swear. I suppose I better tell you what really happened. Just promise to believe me, won't you, dear?
What exactly were you doing in Mr. Tangaro's room?
Well, I suppose you'd call it research.
Research.
Sammy Poople is a dab hand when it comes to the old sweet making. Everybody knows that. So when I noticed there was no one in there, I just popped in for a quick bit of research, like I say.
What kind of research leaves fingerprints?
Yes, well, it stands to reason I'd leave fingerprints, doesn't it? After all, it's hardly research if you don't have a little nibble now, is it? What? You ate little pieces of them?
So, the traces of tampering in Mr. Tangaro's room, that was all you?
I'm ever so sorry, sweeties. I didn't mean to make a mess. I just had to take a little bite here and there, didn't I? I didn't want poor Sammy Poodle getting upset, so it was just the teachiest bits and pieces.
And the stand holding up the ship. You took a bite out of that too, I suppose?
Oh yes, dear. Of course I did.
It was you. You brought the whole thing crashing down.
I'm sorry, my lovely. Truly I am. Hold on. Is that why you left the afternoon tea early? You were heading out for a second helping of sweets. Look, just please believe me. I never killed anybody, I promise.
Her actions were certainly suspicious, but that's about all we can say for now. The rock crystal sands and the pillars in front of the castle feature the same hexagonal shape. I believe the crystals are meant to be placed on top of the pillars.
Oh yeah, hexagon to hexagon. Makes perfect sense.
But if that's the case, then why were they being hidden inside the castle? The rolls of blue cloth and the rock crystals inside the castle. I imagine both must belong to Miss Scone. Miss Scone, what were you using the items inside the castle for?
Oh, those. Sorry, Lemkin, but I'm not allowed to say.
Let me guess. Fun karma?
How did you know? Please don't ask me to tell you. You'll have my guts for garters.
It seems the prosecution really has no intention of sharing anything with the defense.
Man, thought we were onto something with those crystals, but... What's that, dearie? You're interested in my little trinkets?
Your trinkets?
Yes, my sweet. I usually make people all lovely and relaxed.
You use rock crystals and cloths to do that.
I do. It's wonderful. You should see it. And they're not just any old rock crystals either. They're great big lumps of salt with lights inside them. Wow, those things are lamps. Tea! Oh, that's not even the half of it. Those cloths hold an even more exciting secret.
She really opened up the moment we started talking about her trinkets.
Since you're here, why don't I give you lovely boys a taste of my relaxation magic, Oh, Batty Bumpkin, can you get it all out and set it up for me?
The name is bad.
Is that a no? Why are you being so selfish, Batty Bumpkin?
Have you finished taking photos of this room yet? Yes, sir, we have, sir. Then I'll Miss Scone here with something, will you? Yes, sir, right away, sir.
Oh, you're a sweetie at heart, aren't you, Batty B? That's amazing, Miss Scone. You got him to do exactly what you wanted. That's some talent. Thank you ever so much, Partykins. And you, Officer Lovely.
She's even giving nicknames to the forensics guys now. I guess it's her way of showing that she cares. So, what about this is supposed to be relaxing exactly?
Oh, don't be a big sourpuss, Patty B. The fun's only just beginning. Officer Lovely, you can switch it on now.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, it's beautiful.
It is. I wish my son were here to see it.
Isn't it, though? Isn't it just wonderful? The 4 adorable elves in the sweetest little castle made of sweets. That's my theme, you see. And I thought it would be extra lovely if it was all lit up. Isn't it the nicest thing you've ever seen?
One of the elves must be feeling a little left out.
This is how we're supposed to look for the contest. But I'm glad you lovely boys got to see it at least. Wait, shouldn't the lamps be lit up too? Oh, what's happened there, I wonder?
I think you better take a look at the lamps and the elves one more time. The whipped cream in this room is collapsing because the temperature is too high. It's 68 degrees. My messed up shoes can vouch for that. And yet, when you opened the doors to the castle, the handles themselves were just fine. Yeah, they were sturdier than expected. Sturdy. That's not the way I would describe most things made of confectionaries. I think we better take another look at those handles, don't you? What the? I think it's safe to say those handles aren't made of candy. It's not just the handles. The whole castle. The little elves. They're all just plastic models with whipped cream smeared on top.
What? So none of this is confectionery art after all?
No. It's simply made to look like candy with the cream having been added to lend it all an air of authenticity. This elf doesn't have an illuminated cloth over it like the others.
It's not fair to leave the poor guy out, Miss Scone. Well, I didn't want to, did I, dear? But one of my cloths and one of my little machines went missing.
A cloth and what sort of machine exactly?
Oh, you'll never guess how it all works. Those luminous cloths are connected to these little thingamajigs. They're called, full spectrum light emitting devices. They send light down the main cable into each optical fiber strand. That's what makes the cloth glow. With a little bit of fiddling, you can change the light to any color in the whole wide world. Bright red like ferocious fiery flames. Cold blue like clinking crystals of ice. They have these special batteries that last for donkey's years, and they don't mind the cold at all.
Forgive me, so these machines, they're
what makes the special luminous cloth light up in all these beautiful colors, Mr. E.
I see. So much new technology, I can barely keep up. So these light-emitting devices, you lost one of them in a piece of luminous cloth.
That's right, Lambkin. Heaven only knows where they could have got to.
This cloth could have something to do with the case. Could this be related to anything? I don't know why I said it. I don't know. I don't know why I said that. I didn't even say this guy. I don't even. Take a look at the list of rules for the contest detective. Non-confectionery items may not be used as decoration. That means the salt lamps and the luminous cloths will both have been against the rules. Is that why they were stashed away inside the castle? I think we need to dig a little further into this with Miss Scone before we can say for sure. The lamps appear to be broken. Bulbs are smashed, both of them. Maybe they fell and broke in the floor? Look, there's a red stain on the one on the left. That's not just a stain. That's... Yep, it's blood all right. I can smell it.
What? Blood?
Why is there blood on this lamp? Could it have something to do with why its bulb is broken? We better take a closer look at the other one, too. We know that the victim was struck and killed with something blunt. And we found blood on one of the lamps, which has a smashed bulb inside. Could the lamp not have been the murder weapon?
For sure. It could definitely do enough damage to kill someone.
You, science guy. You Did you finish analyzing the blood from the lamp yet? Yes, sir. Just got done a minute ago, sir. The blood is the victim's, no doubt about it. So the murder weapon was hidden in Miss Scone's room. I'm beginning to think we may need to add her to our list of suspects. So not only did she use decorations that were against the rules, she didn't even make any real sweets. Miss Scone made a mockery of the rules. Yeah, guess she's not gonna get crowned world's greatest now. And why is it so warm in here? Do you think it's got something to do with all this? That's a good question. I think you better go ask Miss Scone herself. Miss Scone, why is the temperature of your room set to 68 degrees?
Guess I hate the cold, don't I, dearie? And besides, being chilly is no good for a girl. If I want to keep my fresh-faced complexion, I've got to be careful about these things. We ladies have to stay young, don't you know?
How old is she really, though? That's what I'd like to know. It's not polite to speculate on a person's age, Eddie. But most of your work is made out of whipped cream. And whipped cream needs to be kept at 50 degrees, or it starts to deflate.
Is that so, dearie? Well, silly me, eh? I've only got it made a whoopsie.
Wait, she really didn't know that? Huh. World-class confectioner, my foot. Not only did she break the rules by using fake candy, she's ignorant of basic facts about her supposed craft. Scone grows more mysterious by the minute. Miss Scone appears to lack basic knowledge about how confectionery is created, and she says that she snuck into another entrance room for research purposes. Hardly the actions of a world-class confectioner competing for a major prize. Yeah, not how I'd picture a top pro acting. She maybe just lack a little confidence, or she not actually confectioner at all. Perhaps she had another agenda altogether. After all, we only have her word for it that she went into that room to do some research. Wait, you mean maybe she went in there to commit a murder? There's no way of saying so for certain just yet. But she is hiding something, that much I'm certain of. That's enough investigating for now, don't you think? Yes, we've certainly found plenty of interest. Something's been bothering me for a while now. Mr. Von Karma will have surely found the murder weapon when we searched his room. And yet, he didn't arrest Miss Scone. He didn't even seem interested in questioning her. I think our first priority should be to find out what he's really up to. Detective Bad, I have a few things I'd like to ask Mr. Von Karma. Me too. Him and Scone.
Hey, how could you, Batty Bumpkin? Just stop staring at me like that.
It appears Detective Bad is just as suspicious of Mr. Von Karma and Miss Scone as I am. Miss Scone, would you be so kind as to accompany us?
Of course, dear. Where are we off to?
To find Mr. Von Karma. Mr. Von Karma, we'd like to speak with you if that's all right.
Judging by your faces, I'm guessing you found the murder weapon.
We did. It was in Miss Scone's room. Which means that Mr. Tangaroa should no longer be the only person of interest.
Ha! Nonsense! It doesn't matter where the weapon was found. Tangaroa is guilty. And as long as this is my case, guilty he shall remain.
How can you be so sure of Mr. Tangaroa's guilt? You have an explanation, I assume, for why the murder weapon was in Miss Scone's room.
Humph. Of course I do. And I'll be delighted to share it with you. Tangaroa killed Fossil one of Scone's salt lamps in order to frame her for the murder.
To complete the deception, he took it back to her room once the deed was done. After all, it had been found near the victim's body. Tangaroa would have seemed doubly suspicious. A body may be hard to move, but a murder weapon? Considerably less so. And that is why there was no piece of evidence on the scene that pointed to a particular suspect. So it's your assertion that Mr. Tangaroa took the salt lamp back to Miss Scone's room? It is indeed. But it is more than an assertion. It is a fact, based on my own investigation. You mean you have proof that he did so? Humph. I don't need any such thing. If you have a rebuttal, I'll be happy to hear it. But I highly doubt you'll be able to fault my logic.
Objection!
It's true that the murder weapon and the blood-stained chocolate were removed from the scene of the crime. But something else remained that does point to one person in particular. Take another look at the photograph of the body, if you will. The cloth covering the victim's lower half. Is that not one of the same luminous cloths we found in Miss Scone's room? What's that, dearie? One of my lovely colorful cloths at the scene of the crime, you say? Humph, luminous cloth. Nonsense! I see no light to speak of. I guess this is how it works. It may look like ordinary fabric at first glance, but attached with these light-emitting devices, and the difference soon becomes apparent. Look at his face. I don't think he was expecting that. But the fact that the cloth can be lit up is neither here nor there. We have to show why it's important. One of the rolls of cloth from Miss Scone's room went missing. And if you look closely at the blue cloth in the picture, wouldn't you say it's clearly made of the same material, Mr. Von Karma? Humph. The salt lamp and the luminous cloth both belong to Miss Scone. And seeing as the body was wrapped in said cloth, surely even you have to admit that's suspicious. Mr. Von Karma, I think it's time to accept that a number of factors point to Miss Scone as a person of interest. Greggy Pelegay, how could you? You're accusing me of all people. I'm not accusing you of anything just yet. But I do think you're hiding something. That's not... Just to clarify, your assertion is that both the murder weapon and the cloth were in Miss Scone's room prior to the murder. Exactly. Is something funny. Only that you've walked so carelessly into my trap. Neither the cloth nor the murder weapon were in fact in her room. So sorry to have to break it to you. What does he mean? Tangaroa spotted them before the contest began and noted that the lamps and cloths contravened the rules. He subsequently confiscated them and he took them to his own room for safekeeping. What? Then, after the contest began, nobody saw hide nor hair of Frost as he had secluded himself in his room. And the only person capable of entering his locked room was Tangaroa, possessing as he did the only key. And as you now know, he was also in possession of the lamp used to commit the murder. So you see, I have had everything I need to get Tangaroa convicted all along. Well, how does it feel to have lost to me before even setting foot in the courtroom? This can't be happening. Wait, all our hard work was for nothing? Miss Scone, why didn't you tell us your stuff was confiscated by Mr. Tangaroa? Well, dear, Mannequin said that if I spilled the beans, I'd end up being one under suspicion. Mr. Von Karma said that. And he wasn't wrong now, was he? You two accused me yourselves just a second ago. Pathetic. Curse you, Von Karma. You led us to the murder weapon, knowing we'd make certain assumptions as a result. One more thing, my pathetic friend. There are 2, and only 2, sets of fingerprints on the murder weapon. 2. Yes, those of Delicious Scone and Samson Tangaroa. No others were found. Tangaroa used the lamp he had confiscated to murder Frost. and was foolish enough to hide it in Scone's room without first removing his fingerprints. At this rate, no one will even need to testify. My perfect evidence will do all the talking for me as I secure his guilty verdict.
Objection.
But wait, what about the luminous cloth that was left behind in Mr. Tangaroa's room? Huff, what about it? He probably meant to return it after disposing of the body. I don't have enough to disprove any of what he's saying. No more pitiful objections. And get out of my sight, and close the door behind you.
Mr. E!
I'm not about to just give up. Huff, I see you mean to waste more of my time. Bad, escort them off the premises now. This investigation is not over yet. Detective Bad. What is the meaning of this? Sorry, but I'm not in the habit of leaving cases half solved. There's still one last thing from the crime scene we haven't identified. He's right. We still have the evidence of somebody's activities to account for. Huff, we can discuss your lingering doubts at our leisure, Detective. But whatever they might be, they're no business of the defense's.
Objection.
I beg to differ. There's a piece of evidence I'm still not satisfied about either. And I suspect it might be the same thing that's bothering Detective Bad. What? This is the yet unidentified something that was left in Mr. Tangaroa's room.
Take that.
There are finger marks on one of Mr. Tangaroa's creations. Supposing they belong to the murderer, it could certainly explain how their prints didn't end up on the murder weapon. How do you know so much about the crime scene? Because I let them look around. You let the defense examine the scene, Bad. Are you out of your mind? I don't remember you telling me not to. Huff, insolent worm! You would do well to remember this then, Detective. That the result of your next salary review is up to me. Ugh.
Detective Bad's in trouble now, too. I'm sure glad you're my boss, Mr. Edgeworth.
As long as you remember that the results of your salary review is up to your performance on this case. Huh. I'm here returning uncovery such a fact based on a cursory investigation. I'm almost impressed. But it's entirely possible that those finger marks belong to Tangaroa. After all, he wore gloves while preparing his creations.
Objection.
But can you prove conclusively that the finger marks are his? Furthermore, there is still something about Miss Scone that doesn't add up. Is there? Or are you simply not prepared to admit defeat?
Oh, stop it, Greggy. Stop it, stop it. Why are you being so mean to your poor old pal Delisha? I own up to the poor slimy people, sweeties. What more do you want?
I don't want to have to make you a suspect. That much is certain. But you lied to us. And you're still not telling us everything.
Greggy, stop it. Stop bullying me.
I'm sorry, but you don't even know the temperature whipped cream should be kept at. What kind of professional confectioner doesn't know something as fundamental as that?
I'm sorry, all right? I'm sorry I'm just a silly, muddle-headed girl. What more do you want me to say?
I don't think you're muddle-headed at all. I think that you were never a confectioner in the first place. Enough! I'll thank you to keep your baseless accusations to yourself. Evidence is everything in a courtroom, in case you've forgotten. If you're going to accuse a witness of perjury, then I demand that you present something to back it up. But this isn't a courtroom, is it? Nevertheless. What proof do I have that Miss Scone doesn't know the first thing about making desserts?
Take that.
Every single one of Miss Scone's creations break the rules of the contest. The offending items, the cloths and the lamps, were duly confiscated as we have established. And the witness did not go and bring them back to her room herself.
Objection.
But those weren't the only rule-breaking items in her room. What? The entire fantastical world Miss Scone created, every last bit of it. It's all just a collection of plastic models slathered in whipped cream. That cream is the only authentic confectionery in the room! No real world idol contender would ever stoop so low. Is this true, Bad? Yep. Saw it with my own eyes. Stepped in it with my own shoes.
Did we finally convince him?
With her lies exposed like this, surely he can't continue to deny the facts. Miss Scone, your actions place you firmly on our list of suspects.
But, no dear, I'm no killer.
Then why don't you finally start telling us the truth? Who are you really, and why were you tampering with your rival's work?
All right. The truth is, I'm not the adorable little cook you see before you. I'm actually a pharmacist, if you can believe it.
A pharmacist? I can't blame him for being so surprised. This couldn't be further from what we'd imagined. So what's somebody in your line of work doing entering a contest like this one?
Well, I just love eating sweeties, if you must know. And semi-people sweets are the best, or so they say. I just had to enter. I didn't mean to end up making it all the way to the final.
Even Mr. Von Karma's lost for words.
That's it? That's the only reason you're here? Yes, dear, and it was worth it. Samson Shelly Pants and Sweeties are the tastiest sweets I ever did eat.
And the finger marks. Were you the one wearing the gloves?
No. That wasn't me, dear. I don't even wear gloves.
Remember, Miss Scone's fingerprints were found elsewhere on Mr. Tangro's other creations. I say that points to her not having worn any gloves.
Exactly, Lambkid. Greggy Pegleg's at the right end of the stick. I'm an innocent woman.
Is your head filled with cream too?
Sorry, mannequins.
Her head may not be filled with cream, but she's certainly no master of subterfuge. Miss Scone, were Mr. Tangro's works the only ones you sampled?
No, dear. I couldn't help myself. When I'd finished my afternoon tea, I tiptoed over to Chillywinks' room for a little taste too.
You were in the victim's room too?
Yes, dear. Nobody was in there, you see.
Quite possibly because the occupant was already dead.
But I could only stomach one little bite. I never tasted anything so salty all my life. So I had myself one of the tasty star-shaped bits off to the side to cleanse my palate.
You have quite the sweet tooth, don't you, Miss Scone? Indeed. What didn't she sample?
That's everything, I promise. Greggy Pickles, mannequins, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make a mess of things.
As long as what you told us is the truth, that's all that matters in the end. Do not think for a second that this means I myself believe you. I'm going to investigate the victim's room now. We'll see how truthful you've really been after I'm through. Mr. Von Karma, please, let us accompany you. I think it's only fair that we be allowed to investigate the veracity of our conclusions. Humph. Accompany me if you like, but don't think for a second you'll be permitted to conduct your own investigation. We'd like to accompany you all the same. What in the? What's the meaning of this? When we got to Frost's room, we saw nada. It was all gone. The whole enchilada. Was this the work of the culprit? A dead body hidden in a chocolate chest. A murder weapon moved mysteriously to another room. This case was a real peach, and it was going to take some serious sleuthing to get to the bottom of it all. So yeah, that is the beginning of Case 3. Some people say it is the best case in the series. I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty alright. I'm pretty sure middle starts after this, right? Can I move the cursor over? Yeah, alright. So, I'm pretty sure we go back to the present after this. See you next time. Funny cliffhanger, go burr, I guess.